This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with a story that's gaining national attention. A letter from Fargo Public Schools was sent to Florida teachers in an attempt to recruit those who may be upset about the recently enacted Don't Say Gay law in the state.
As Valley News team's Nishay Taylor explains, Fargo school leaders say this is just their way of being inclusive.
Back in April, Fargo Public Schools sent a letter to teachers in Florida in reference to the parental rights bill, which some critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill.
To show support for educators in Florida that may not feel supported by the legislation that was passed.
The newly enacted law prohibits lessons on sexual orientation and gender identity for kids in kindergarten through third grade in Florida schools. Dr. Rupak Gandhi, one of the 4 authors of the letter, says it could help attract teachers to North Dakota who are bothered by the Sunshine State's new law.
We're always recruiting, and we just wanted to share that we're working towards becoming a welcoming environment.
The letter begins with what FPS says is an important statement. We are way okay with saying gay or straight or LGBTQ+. Commissioner John Strand and North Dakota U.S. House Representative Joshua Boucher are also authors of the letter, with Strand saying, quote, "I'm not going to tell teachers how to teach. They know best." And Boucher, a member of the LGBTQ+ community, telling Valley News Live, quote, "I am not alone when I say that it was in fact an educator who was one of the first adults who supported us to be who we are." But not everyone is a fan of the letter. Republican State House candidate Ethan Harsel tweeted FPS's letter, which also received criticism from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' office. But Dr. Rupak says the district will continue to stand by their decision to send the letter.
We are proud of the letter. We have nothing to kind of hide behind.
In Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Dr. Gandhi says the district hasn't hired any teachers from Florida since that letter was sent.
The president of the Fargo School Board has called for a special meeting this Thursday to discuss a motion to reinstate the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of their meetings. This comes after local and national criticism to the board voting 7-2 not to recite the pledge just last week. Keep in mind the board voted to start saying the pledge just this past spring, so a lot of back and forth. Now, early this afternoon, I reached out to 25 local school districts trying to find out how many actually say the pledge before board meetings, not at school, at board meetings. Only 7 have gone back to me. 5 tell me they say it. 1 tells me they don't. 1 says they don't, but they're now considering adding the pledge to board meetings because of the drama in Fargo. But again, 18 of the 25 have not gotten back to me. A check of their record meeting minutes suggests many do not say it. Now, the president of the board that's looking to add it told me it wasn't really a political thing before. They just never thought to say it at board meetings. Now they're thinking about it. You can find more information on this story, including a link to the full memo calling for this special meeting in Fargo on Thursday on our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story.
We have breaking news just into our newsroom. The Jamestown Police Department is putting out a public thank you note tonight after they say Police Chief Scott Ettinger was rescued by civilians. In a post on Facebook, PD writes the chief attempted to make a traffic stop on a reckless motorcycle driver and was assaulted after a pursuit. They say normally we would ask the public to stay back after an incident like this, but in this case, your help was greatly appreciated.
All right, time now for a check of our forecast. Welcome in First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Nathan Hopper for the details. Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks for joining us here. Valley News Live at 10 o'clock. Nice and quiet across the region this evening. Outside of one little cell we're tracking for you this hour, but our Luther Family Ford Skycam shows you, yeah, not too much going on here in South Fargo at this hour. But we did have this evening, and this is confirmed, we did have a beautiful sunset. Take a look at this time lapse of that sunset this evening. Oh boy, look to the right-hand side of your screen. We'll zoom in on that sun right there. Just fantastic. A little bit of haze in the atmosphere that we were able to see that sun kind of falling through. And actually, on this side of your screen, you're seeing that cumulonimbus cloud, that anvil top. That's a storm that currently is moving through Jamestown or the Stutsman County area as we speak. But we saw the sun setting on that cumulonimbus cloud. Just chef's kiss. Here's that storm right now. You can see just to the west of Jamestown, right along I-94 near Medina. This storm kind of split into two. So you got one cell just near Jamestown, one cell south of Medina. Not severe, but some rumbles of thunder likely occurring there central Stutsman County as we speak. Big picture, not much else going on along this boundary. That still is there, though we're not seeing much in the way of clouds. Satellite imagery has a tough time with some clouds at night sometimes, but the boundary is still there from this low pressure system near Sioux Lookout, heading through Ontario, continues to move eastward. So tonight, that boundary still could cause some overnight showers and storms, and of course, we'll see some changes in temperatures, Stacy, Justin, after this front exits. So we'll break that down in detail in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Nathan.
New tonight, the first day of school fast approaching in the Valley, and there are some changes in store for students in the West Fargo School District.
For one, there's a brand new department dedicated to behavioral health and wellness. Valley News Team's Cooper Shagana introduces us to the director of the new department, who says she can't wait to dive in and start making a difference.
Starting this year, West Fargo schools are digging deeper into the behavioral health of their students.
Prior to this year, some of the behavioral health and wellness efforts in the district were led by people in multiple departments.
Annie Richards says that the department is the first of its kind in the region. She says her staff will be present at every school in the district, and they will solely focus on the social emotional curriculum.
We're really excited because by bringing everybody who's doing this kind of work under the same umbrella, we're going to be able to improve our systems, improve those connections so that we can better increase access for all of our learners.
She says the goal is to eliminate behavioral disparities by developing coaching specific to each student. Following the attention on social and emotional health, some changes are also afoot for the SROs in the district.
But we always stress the safety of everything. We go into a lot of living on your own classes or FACS classes and talk about the safety of obviously the internet, driving, just area situational awareness, different things like that.
This school year, resource officers are becoming more involved in classroom life as helping hands and informal counselors. Richards and Officer Balvick agree that parents can help too by communicating with their kids and being a listening ear. They also feel that students need to process new societal pressures and dangers openly.
School districts across the nation are seeing the same concerns that we have here in our community, increasing mental health needs, especially in the wake of the pandemic.
In West Fargo, Cooper Shagana, Valley News Live.
The Sheriff's Department is also urging the public to take their role in keeping kids safe this year seriously, saying to drive carefully and be on the lookout for an increase in school and student traffic outside of the school.
You know, our motoring public's not going to be used to seeing all the children around the school area, so we just want to make sure that they're being vigilant and watching out.
Tonight, VNL investigates how secure do you think your kids are in the classroom. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley explores how schools in the Valley are keeping your children safe, the improvements still needed, and the financial barriers that stand in the way. You can watch that story right now on valleynewslive.com and on your VNL News app. You can download and use that app for free. Just search VNL News in your app store. Also look for part 2 of that investigation tomorrow on Valley News Live at 6.
MSUM has announced their president for the last 9 years will retire in 2023. That's next year. Ann Blackhurst is the 11th person to lead MSUM and stated stepping away from MSUM and the Dragon family will not be easy, but I firmly believe it's a leader's responsibility to know when the time is right for someone new to take the lead, end quote. The search for a replacement is expected to start this fall with the hope of having a candidate by next spring.
Continuing coverage out of Minnesota now, where about 15,000 nurses in the Twin Cities and Duluth area have voted to go on strike.
Red Chapman has details.
Minnesota nurses say they have been negotiating for 5 months, working without a contract since June, and now they've given the go-ahead to call a strike.
Our hospitals are understaffed, overcrowded, nurses are overworked, and patients are paying the price, waiting longer for care and suffering more adverse events while still being charged sky-high prices for health care.
15,000 nurses working in 12 hospitals in the Twin Cities and 3 hospitals in Duluth authorized a strike. If it happens, it will be the largest nurses' strike in U.S. history. Nurses say the decision to authorize a strike was not made lightly.
We've watched as nearly 1/3 of my coworkers, feeling burned out and traumatized, have left. Without adequate staffing to do our jobs, every day for the last few months has been a challenge. Working 12 hours straight without a break is a common occurrence.
Leaders at the Twin Cities Hospital Group, which represents Children's Minnesota, North Memorial, M Health Fairview, and Health Partners, released a statement saying, in part, "We are disappointed that the nurses union rushed to a strike vote without exhausting all means of reaching an agreement to our request for mediation." In a statement, leaders from Allina Health said, "We have also demonstrated our commitment to many of the union's priority issues, such as diversity, equity and inclusion, safety and security, and recruitment and retention."
We are asking for one of the most successful healthcare companies in the United States to put its head and heart together to help our patients, coworkers, and ourselves.
Red Chapman reporting the nurses do need to give 10 days notice before the strike officially begins. That means it's set to start late next week.
More than 1 million Minnesotans are waiting to see if they'll get hundreds of dollars from the state. The state is expected to send out an email tomorrow to let applicants know if they were denied. They plan to send out 214,000 denial emails for that hero pay. Payouts this fall will be based on the final number of approved applications. That could amount to about $400 per person, quite a bit less than originally estimated.
West Fargo police are partnering with Essentia Health to create an enhanced cardiac screening program. Their goal is to identify those most at risk of a cardiac event and prevent it. Police say they've had several tragic incidents with officers the past few years, and this is a priority. According to the American Heart Association, the average age of an officer who suffers a heart attack is just 49 years old, compared to 67 for the public. The program includes, as you see, a fitness test, blood test, heart scan, and ultrasound, and screening is mandatory.